Guys, it's Tony Rose here, and I wanted to start off my first day of my pageant vlog with telling you guys how I got into the world of pageantry and how I started doing beauty pageants, because I don't really think any of this would matter, and I don't really think any of this would make sense if I didn't tell you how I really got started into this kind of lifestyle, I guess you could call it. I do want to apologize because it has been a couple of days since I last filmed. I wanted to get this started a lot earlier, but I actually just went through oral surgery on Thursday, and I've kind of just been in recovery mode. I don't know if you guys can tell on my face, but this side of my face is actually a bit more swollen than this side of my face because this is where the surgery happened, and I've just been kind of waiting for it to, I don't know, like go down a bit, because I don't really want to be filming when my face is like this big, because then no one's really going to believe that I do pageants if I'm like, you know, my whole face is taking up the screen. But I think it's a little bit better today, so I felt like this would probably be the best day to start filming and just start this vlog all together. So I actually just started doing pageants not too long ago. I actually started when I was 20. So it's been like 3 years now because I just turned 23. And I started off really small. I started off with a local ethnic pageant. It's the Miss Manila pageant that happens in Toronto. It's a really, one of the most known ethnic pageants in the Filipino community. And it was very simple. We had training for 6 weeks, so every Sunday we would go and we would train on how to walk, how to talk, how to, you know, we had a dance number, so we practiced our dance and stuff like that. And there wasn't a lot of girls in my category. There were only 15, and we had an evening gown portion. We had a question and answer portion, and it was just like a very basic kind of pageant. And from that pageant I placed second, so I won first runner-up. But that pageant actually brought a lot of new things into my life. I met my best friend. Her name's Katrina, and if she's watching this, hi sweetie, I miss you. Yeah, I met her through Miss Manila, and we actually got asked if we wanted to do a national pageant, which is how we got into Miss Canada Globe. Miss Canada Globe is actually the third biggest pageant in Canada, and it is a nationwide Canada, so it goes from East Coast to West Coast, so all the way from like Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, all the way to British Columbia and up into the Northwest Territories and the Yukon and Nunavut, like all over the place. So it's like a really big pageant, and it is a really big deal because you're competing with all sorts of girls from all over the country. So it's an amazing pageant. So from Miss Manila, from first runner-up, I went into Miss Canada Globe, and Miss Canada Globe was just such a big eye-opener to what pageants are really all about. The first thing you have to know about pageants is what's really, really important, that I have to tell you guys this, especially if you are interested in doing beauty pageants and all this fun stuff, is that every pageant will always have an entrance fee, especially if you win prizes. So for Miss Manila, I paid $100 to get in to the actual pageant, and you actually get really great stuff out of it. So I won a $300 cash prize, I won a trophy, I got a sash, we got jewelry, we got makeup, we got bouquet of roses, just like so many things that were given to us just for winning and participating. So like, that's why entrance fees are there. It's to pay for your training, it's to pay for the venues that you're performing in, it's to pay for the people who are working for the pageant, and it's to pay for your prizes, because these things don't come for free unless they're sponsored. And I know in the States beauty queens are a really, really big deal. In Canada, unfortunately, it's not something that people really partake in, which is unfortunate because there's such a great experience to have. But Miss Canada Globe, I had to actually raise my entrance fee because it was a lot more than Miss Manila, and I'm not gonna say it on my video because it's actually part of my contract not to talk about it, but I felt like you guys should know. So I had to actually raise my entrance fee through events and fundraisers. So I was doing that all summer when I got entered into Miss Canada Globe. And we also had fast track awards. So you could fast track into the semifinals if you did certain things. So one of the one of the awards that I was trying to go for was Miss Public Relations, and me and my best friend Christina, who she also entered Miss Canada Globe with me, we would fundraise and we would do all these like public events together. And it's such, I don't know, like I have to really thank Miss Canada Globe for letting me do something like this, because I would never have been able to really explore my city and my country as much as I did with them, because we have events happening all the time in Toronto. Like every single day there's always something going on, and I just never go to them. Like I've gone to the major events, like I've gone to Pride Parade and all this other stuff, but I've never been to you know, Taste of the Danforth, Salsa in St. Clair, Taste of Lawrence, like all these mini events that happen throughout the GTA. I've never gone to them. And it's really, really unfortunate, because I've lived in Toronto my whole life and I've never really explored my city. And being in Miss Canada Globe and having to do these public events showed me like all sorts of people in my city and all the different types of people and like what people were interested in, different types of cultures. And it's an amazing experience, and that's why I love doing pageants, because it opens your eyes to the world, really, and all the things surrounding you that you would never get to experience without, you know, a pageant. So I raised my entrance fee, and then I went to nationals, and nationals was probably the most stressful but most amazing time of my life. I've met friends from all over the country, so I've got friends in British Columbia, I've got friends in Manitoba, and I see them and I talk to them as much as I can. And it's great to know what life is like outside of Toronto, because I would talk to them about my experiences in the city, and some of them come from such small cities, and they come to Toronto, they're just like, oh my gosh, this place is amazing, like it's so busy here. And for us who grew up in Toronto, like you just think it's like, oh, everywhere you go it's gonna be like Toronto, because that's what I was like. Like I think the busiest place I've ever been to was probably New York City, and that was like at Times Square, so it was like flooded with people, and like to me I'm just like, oh my god, there's so many people here. But I guess if you live in New York City, it's just kind of like, yeah, this is just the way the city is. And that's what I felt like when my friends from Saskatchewan and all these places came to Toronto, and they were just like, oh my god, this place is so busy, there's so many things here, your downtown is huge. And I'm just like, I wonder what it's like to live in, you know, Saskatchewan and Manitoba and Alberta and all these great things. And Miss Canada Globe was a lot bigger, obviously, than Miss Manila. So we had the Miss category, the Petite category, and the Teen category. So it goes by ages and your height, obviously. So Miss Canada Globe, the category that I was in, I actually had to be over 5'5½", and I just made that mark to be a Miss Canada Globe, because my best friend Katrina was in petites, because she's a bit shorter than I am, and I didn't really want to compete with her, because like she's my best friend, I already had to compete against her once, I don't want to do it again. So I was lucky enough that we were in like separate positions, because she's gorgeous, and she would have been tough competition, to be perfectly honest with you, if I had to compete against her. But with that, we had a talent portion, we had an evening gown portion, we had a question and answer portion, we had dance competitions, we had sports competitions. Like we had so much stuff to do in 1 week that you literally did not sleep, because we would have events during the day, then we would train all night. So literally we would get back from 10 from dinner, like we would arrive back at our hotel, and we had to be downstairs in our heels in half an hour, and we would train our dance number, we would train how to walk, we had to bring our dresses down and learn how to walk in them, and we would be up until 3 o'clock in the morning, and we had to be up for 6. And that means that when they say you have to be up for 6, it means you have to be downstairs ready to go at 6 o'clock. So literally, when you're a pageant queen, you have to be picture perfect every single time, because everywhere you go is a photo op, everywhere you go you're in the public eye, and we had to look glamorous every single time. And I think I went through so many bottles of concealer that night, that week, because you would just be so tired from 2 hours of sleep. Like it was exhausting. But it was so worth it in the end. You had your final night, and that's where you came out in your gowns, and all the girls looked so gorgeous. I still remember it today. Like Nicole, who actually won Miss Canada Globe, because I came in first runner-up, she looked absolutely stunning on stage. Like her dress was beautiful, and Nicole is so tall, and her legs are so long, and she's such a beautiful girl. And like, just, I was looking back in her videos, and just like, she is so gorgeous. And I was like, a lot of people are like, don't you ever feel like you are bitter because you win second place. I'm like, you know what? I'm fine with winning second place. I would love to win first, but being second, third, fourth, fifth, you get all the best benefits for just being in the top 5, because I still get to travel internationally. You know, I still get a sash, I still get a crown, like I still get all these great things for just placing in the top 5, and that's what I wanted to do. I'm like, I don't have to win, I just want to like be in the top 5. And it's not so much you're there to win the crown or you're bringing the crown home. It's because of that small experience, not a small experience, but this huge experience is just a small amount of time you're going to remember for the rest of your life. And that's all I wanted. I wanted to make friends. I wanted to meet people from all over my country, and I just wanted to take that week and remember it forever, and that's what happened. And so winning top 5 in any category, from Miss, Petite, or Teens, you're instantly in the national roster. So there'd be like, I think 17 girls, because there's also Miss Teen Petite, and that's it's for the teen category, but they're shorter, I guess. I don't really know what the requirements are, I'm sorry. But there'd be 17 of us, and we all get to go internationally. And that's all thanks to Miss Canada Globe. So if Maya's watching this, who is the director of Miss Canada Globe, I want to thank you so much right now on video and tell you the great experience that you've given me and the greatest opportunity to travel all over the world just to do pageants. So we each get to go to a specific pageant, and I think I've made a video a while ago about how I was supposed to go to Greece to compete in Miss Tourism Planet, but that was when Greece, the whole issue with Greece and their economy and like bankruptcy and all this stuff, like that's when it happened, so it wasn't a safe time for us to go to Greece. So the director of that pageant asked us if we could hold off going until the country kind of settled down and all that, you know, all that stuff just kind of went away. So right now there's a girl from the 2011 roster, and she's in Greece right now. So I actually got to pick I was offered a lot of pageants, and I actually got to pick which one I wanted to go to, because I am quite busy. That's probably the most unfortunate part of pageantry, is that you can't just like you just can't pack up your things and go, especially if you work, especially if you go to school. Like, you really got to plan these. And luckily for me, Maya, my director, she offered me 2 pageants, and one of them was in Colombia and the other one was in Dominican. I chose the one in Dominican. It's because I feel like the country itself would kind of be better to go to, because I've heard a lot of like scary things about Colombia, and I am traveling by myself, so I decided to just pick Dominican because I've always wanted to go to the Dominican, and I've heard really great things about it, and I know it's a good country to go to. So I chose the Dominican Republic, and I'm really excited to do an international pageant. Like, I'm just so excited to go, to actually travel somewhere and like meet new people, especially because I know in that area like everybody just speaks Spanish. So I've been kind of like brushing up on my Spanish just so I can like get by with just talking to them. So I wish I could talk more about my international pageant and what it's going to be like, but I don't really know what it's going to be like. I just know that it's just going to be a really, really great experience. One of the benefits of also being in the roster is that you get to train next year's roster, and you get to help organize the pageant, and it's all part of your contract when you sign up to do beauty pageants. And I think that was probably the most exciting part for me, because I actually got to take my experiences and teach them to other girls, and you still get to make friends with the girls from next year's roster. And I love this year's roster and last year's pageant, because they're such great girls and they all got along, and like, I don't know, I just love them. I actually bumped into one of my friends just yesterday, I believe, and I saw her and we were just like talking about what's going on, and like I made even more friends from that because they had a bigger group than we did, and I met people from Yukon territories, and it was just like, I can't believe I actually have a friend who lives in Yukon and she can tell me about her lifestyle in the Yukon. So it's like, it's amazing. And you make lifelong friends. Like, my roster, I miss these girls so much. Like, I remember when we had to like when we were crowning the 2011 girls. Like, we were all crying because we're like, I can't believe it's over, like it's gone, like our roster's done. Like, we were just so sad. But like that whole week, like we were just so, I don't know, like I don't know how to describe it. Like, we were just always together. We were always doing something. Like, nobody was ever alone. We were always with somebody else. We would be like all in like each other's rooms, and like we would be up all night. We'd be eating. Like, oh my goodness. Like, it was just so much fun. And just thinking about it, like, I just miss these girls so much. And like, that's what I really want to tell you guys, is that after you take away all the glitz and the glamour from pageants, you're just down to who your friends are, and like the people that you meet, and like all these amazing things left over. So yeah, that's how I got in, like that's my story through how I got into pageants. And I hope you guys have taken something from this, and I hope that it either makes you a bit more educated about what you have to go through pageantry, and like what great things come from it. So I'm just gonna link I'm actually going to link the videos from the Miss Canada Glow pageant and the Miss Manila pageant that I was in below. And I'm also going to link the Miss Canada Glow website, so you guys can actually see the girls from this year's roster and what they're doing and like what's going on. And if you guys are interested, you guys can always send me a message through YouTube or through Twitter if you guys want to follow me. I'll link that also below. And I can give you more information about what you guys have to do if you guys want to join Miss Canada Glow. So yeah, all the links are below. I'll see you guys again. I'm going to do more videos on the clothes and like the makeup and all that stuff that goes into pageants. So I hope you guys are looking forward to it, and I'll see you guys again. Bye!